Hey, welcome to acemoneypicks.com. I have here your front newsletter here, where you can access our free, unbiased publications of the ongoing macroeconomic events in Europe, U.S., China, pretty much around the world. You have to be constantly active in this economic environment, especially when there's central bank intervention that's making currency swing up and down 2, 3, 4, 5 cents a week. So we got to be on our toes and heavily active. And then there's plenty of opportunities to make money. Just got to know when to get in, when to get out. So use the service. The service is free. I advise everybody to log in when you can and learn from the pros. Okay. So what I'm doing here is providing you guys an update from my previous, from January 13, 2012, when we had an introduction on the U.S. debt clock. And right now it says 47 million, 46 million. Today hit an unprecedented all-time high. The Republicans are taking full advantage of this. Ironically, with today, it's day one for the DNC, Democratic National Convention. And unfortunately, today hit an unprecedented mile marker. We hit $16 trillion in our U.S. debt clock, our U.S. deficit, as noted here at us.clock.org. I do recommend everybody going here. Just every now and then check up on the health of the U.S. economy. As you can see, sometime today hit about $16 trillion. It looks like that debt per taxpayer is going to be about 140,000 or 50, almost 51,000 per citizen. Okay, another historic event that we also hit was the food stamp recipients. We hit over 46 million people, 46 million food stamp recipients are receiving this this service from the federal assistance from the federal government. Also, I want you guys to note is the bottom tier, as it's increased significantly since January 2012. And it's divided by Social Security, prescription drug liability, Medicare, and U.S. which totally is the U.S. unfunded liability is about 120 million. Okay, liability per taxpayer, if we were to pay, is an unbelievable number, about $1 million per taxpayer. And also, please note that total unemployment, official unemployment, which equates to about 8.3% of the population, is about 12.5 million people. But the actual unemployed, which are the recipients, includes recipients that are no longer available to, or no longer qualified to collect unemployment benefits, as a extended to 12-month, 18-month collection period. So there's still a significant amount of people who are underemployed. Alright, so also note that bankruptcies are increasing. Foreclosures has also increased. It looks like from my recent figures, increased about a couple 100,000 homes. So take that into consideration. And the U.S. debt to GDP ratio is 104%. So I want you guys to take note of this. Few things I want to highlight that as of 2009, the U.S., the nation, owned $10.6 trillion. In the last 4 years, there has been, I'm sure you probably heard us on the news relentlessly, but in my opinion, that it's necessary. It's the cost of doing business, or else the nation will fall into a depression, just like in the 1920s. So you got to spend money to make money, or else you're going to be in the same position as in Europe, where austerity is creating a double-dip recession. 11 out of 17 EU nations. Okay, Greece being one of them, a significant burner, which a lot of people are predicting that. A lot of economists predicted that Greece has to exit the euro one way or another, possibly sometime at the end of this month. So we'll find out within the next 10 days. Also, the food stamps, Peter Cordelia, chief market economist at Rockwell Global Capital of New York, he brought an interesting factor that what I originally spoke about back in January on the first part, that the unemployment data is not really telling us the true story of how many Americans are underemployed. Okay, it's a good indication of how the income of the workforce has stagnated and more people are applying for food stamps. So that's a good indicator of how the U.S. economy is truly, really doing. It's not the stock market, which rallied from 6,000 all the way up to 13,000 where we are today. It's not a true indicator of what the economy is doing. So let's just keep that in mind. Okay, but again, there's still opportunity to make money on both ends of the spectrum. Okay, so let's look through a little Google. If you Google U.S. deficit, you'll notice that go just on the web, tons of articles. Fox News just reported this 3 hours ago. Voice of America, they have a blog 59 minutes ago. Huffington Post. I guess these guys right here. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, there's tons of them. Even if you pull up on videos, I'm sure you're going to find 1,000 of them, inclusive of this one at acemoneypicks.com. And I'm sure you probably find tons of images of the history of the U.S. debt. Okay, so it's not something that to take note of. Okay, and now in food stamps, it's the same scenario. I mean, Wall Street Journal just reported something about 9 minutes ago. Food stamp nation. That's not something that we've become. Bloomberg just came across something about 10 hours ago, and I mean, it just goes on and on. And something that to take note of is that with 22.4 million households using food stamps, 15% of the American population is on the program. Okay, the cost of $6.025 billion for the month are just off the all-time record, though the average monthly benefit per person has declined modestly to $132.96. There were fewer than 32 million people on food stamps as recently as November 2008. So that's another market. So less than 32 million. 31 million people. November 2008. We have 46 million. But an aggressive effort from President Obama's administration has built participation, with the total increase by 44% since the president took office in January 2009. If Cordelia is correct, and the proliferation of food stamp recipients represents underemployment and wage stagnation, that could signal difficult times ahead for reducing entitlement spending. Cordelia projects just 90,000 new jobs were formed in August, below consensus for 125,000, and the unemployment rate level at 8.3%. This is an article that was pulled off of Yahoo. That's the CNBC. I'm sure you can find something there, and it's directly reiterated from here, word for word. Okay, so again, go to us.org, pull up this, keep an eye on the U.S. debt, and I guess we'll reconvene at 18 trillion, or if the U.S. deficit ceiling hits again sometime next year. Hopefully we don't get a second downgrade. All right. Meet us again at acemoneypicks.com. Subscribe for a free email newsletter, and we'll see you guys soon.